This video has been funded in part by the Guild via Patreon. Check out the links in the description or at the end of this video for more details. Hello everyone, my name is Gildart, and welcome back to another Pros vs. Cons mini review, the show where I present the pros and cons of my first impressions. I'm a pretty casual follower of RWBY right now, but I started off pretty strong with the first 2 seasons, but then a couple things got in the way. I did end up watching to the end of, I believe it was season 4. I even played the first RWBY game to hit consoles back when it first came out. But today we're talking about RWBY Arrowfell, which came out on Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series, and PC on November 15th, 2022. I had the opportunity to request a review code from Wayforward back when this game came out, but I was dealing with COVID at the time. So when the opportunity rose again, I couldn't say no. So a big thanks to Wayforward for providing a review code, even though it's about half a year post-launch. When I saw that Wayforward was going to bring us a new RWBY game, and they were going to be doing it with the help of Arc System Works, I got super excited. Wayforward has brought us the incredibly delightful Shantae series, one of my favorite platformers. And then there's Arc System Works, the team that always seems to deliver an incredibly pleasing visual display, like they do in Guilty Gear or Dragon Ball FighterZ. This isn't the first time Arc System has worked with RWBY too. There was that time with BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle. With this team and an IP like RWBY, we are bound to be in for a great time, right? Now, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself with things, so don't forget to give this video a like, comment with your thoughts below, and of course subscribe if you haven't already. Alright, no more delays, it's time to jump into RWBY Arrowfell. Ready, set, pros. First of all, can we talk about how fitting these visuals are for RWBY? When I played RWBY Grim Eclipse for the first time, I felt like there was more RWBY could get out of the gaming world. I am so glad that we get to see it in this art style. It is very reminiscent of the recent Shantae games and their 2.5D chibi style. As good as the main cast look in this game, the Grim here look perfect. Every time I entered a new area, I got excited thinking about what the new enemies would look like. As you go on as well, not only do the enemies get bigger and more elaborate, but so do the stages. I know I already said how RWBY Arrowfell looks like a Shantae game, but it also has the same feeling as well. You're going to be exploring side-scrolling stages that will have a plethora of secret rooms and paths for you to find. Each stage is broken up by a world map. It's not all interconnected like some Metroidvania games, but that's a good thing in my opinion. Rather than giving you too much to have to walk back and forth with, RWBY Arrowfell provides the player with a quick alternative to just fast traveling somewhere. This also doesn't mean that you won't be returning to previous maps though. As you gain new abilities throughout the story or complete certain quest lines, you'll be able to access areas you couldn't on the first or even second playthrough of a stage. Whenever I entered an area I couldn't get through with my current abilities, I would wonder when I would obtain the abilities to do so. Speaking of abilities, this segues nicely into how the game plays. Sure, it's your usual Wayforward Metroidvania affair, but Wayforward has always been good to give us something that differentiates each game. With RWBY Arrowfell, we take control of each member of Team RWBY. RWBY, Weiss, Blake, and Yang all play differently, and you may find yourself swapping between them all to get the most out of combat and puzzles. RWBY probably has the best range out of all of the characters, and was the one I started to beef up early for combat. Her ability is a dash that can help you get out of a tight situation or over a gap that you wouldn't be able to normally jump over. Weiss is a fast attacker, and her ability places a platform above her, allowing you to jump to higher areas. Blake is another fast attacker, and her ability leaves behind a shadow double. The double can become the target for enemies, but it can also attack when you do. When I realized this, I started beefing up Blake because I could take on the larger groups in multiple areas. Yang isn't as fast as Weiss and Blank and doesn't have the range of RWBY, but she definitely packs a punch. Yang's ability is a punch to the ground that can shatter blocks that may be in your way. There is also a ranged attack that each character can use. Combat here is nice and versatile without becoming too complex for the usual Metroidvania style game. But I know one thing that RWBY fans will want to know because it's the main reason why any of us got into RWBY in the first place. and that is the story. Well, RWBY Arrowfell, from what I can tell, is a canon side story that takes place sometime during the events of Season 7. RWBY, the team, not the character, is working with Atlas to clear the Grimm in the local area. While on a mission, they find this mysterious orb that seems to summon Grimm. After taking them out, they find the boss of that area, a large Grimm mammoth, and they take it out. Or so they think. This is where the game cuts to a scene animated in the same style as the show. Here we see a second team take out the mammoth with ease. We later find out that this is Team Briar, a mercenary team of huntresses that don't have any connection to Atlas, but seem to have a lot of skill with their semblances. That's their power for anyone who's not up on RWBY terminology. Team Briar bounces before they're really able to speak with each other, and Team RWBY continues their investigation on the mysterious orb, the Grimm appearances in the area, and now Team Briar's connection to all of it. I haven't made my way to Season 7 yet, so I want to hold off on playing more until I get to this point. But the overall story here leaves the player with a lot of questions and slowly trickles information to us in a satisfying way. Having fully animated cutscenes also helps to break up the flow of things really nicely. It could be cool to see a movie done on the plot of this game so that those who can't or won't play this game can still experience it. But that's all the pros I have so far. Now it's time for the wrath of the cons! So you know how I complimented the visuals of this game? Well, even though I do like how it looks, I do have a complaint about it. I just don't think it utilizes Arc System Works to the best of their capabilities. I don't know, maybe I was expecting too much. I just think of what I've seen with games like Guilty Gear and Dragon Ball FighterZ, and I was kind of hoping to see some special moves you could execute with each of the members of RWBY. You would only really need to add one, maybe two special moves. Give each character their own special meter that slowly increases as you deal damage and maybe slowly depletes as you take damage. It could be a large AoE attack that could be useful for ambushes. The second special attack could be a localized attack that would be good for use on bosses, though the AoE one would probably be the one that you would absolutely want to include. I just forget that this game was even made by Arc System Works when I'm playing it. This also brings me to a complaint that didn't necessarily hurt my overall experience, but confused me a bit. All of Team RWBY shares health and energy. I think it would have been good to make damage a bit more impactful and allow you to swap to the next team member once one loses all of their health. Admittedly, this would affect puzzles, but you could do it in a way where they get enough health back to take one hit when you move to a new screen, or implement a revival item that you may want to keep stock of. I never used any healing items while I was playing through this game. I bought them expecting to use them more, but never found myself in need of them. Then there's the fact that your energy is also your health. Your energy also acts as the ammo for your ranged attacks. As you take damage, your energy goes down. Now you can still use your ranged attack, and as long as you don't take a hit, your energy will regenerate to the point where it would have been. I do like this idea, but tying it to your health just doesn't feel right to me. I would have rather the two just be separate. I also praised the cutscenes that utilize the art style and animation of the show, but there's one big glaring issue with the way that these were implemented, and that's how these scenes are the only time we get voice acting. There are a lot of text boxes, as to be expected with a game with influences rooted in Shantae, but the issue I have is that the cast of RWBY is super iconic. Anytime I saw one of the animated scenes, I got so excited, but then we'd go back to the cardboard cutout scenes and be left with grunts and single words from the voice actors. In Shantae and the Seven Sirens, we had the odd line read out by the actors, which helped a lot with immersion into the story. We don't get that same treatment here, which is quite disappointing. In the end, RWBY Arrowfell is a fun time, though I feel it could have been just a bit more. It's not a game that I'll be dropping permanently or anything, but it does leave me feeling like there's still room for improvement. I am going to take a bit of a break from the game just to catch up on the show before I continue, but I am going to be jumping back into this game. I'm honestly really happy they went with a Shantae-inspired game design. The gameplay is really fun, and the Metroidvania mechanics of finding new tools and abilities that open more of past areas is just so good. Though I feel like there's a lot of missed opportunities to use the animation skills of Arc System Works, I still give RWBY Arrowfell a thumbs up. At no point while playing this game did I feel like I wanted to drop it. I constantly wanted to keep going and find out the stories behind the mysterious orb and Team Briar. I also feel like there are some characters on the side of Team RWBY that aren't giving them the full picture. There's still a lot for me to play through, and I know I'm going to be jumping right back on it once I catch up to this point in the show. And you should too if you're a fan of RWBY. Anyways, everyone, thank you so much for watching my mini review of RWBY Arrowfell. If you enjoyed it, give it a like and subscribe for more. Who's your favorite RWBY character? Let me know in the comments below, and if you'd like to help support the channel and what I do here, you can join the guild, just like these awesome people that you're seeing on screen right now. You can join them at the end of every single video for just $1 a month over on Patreon, or you can donate in a one-time fashion and join the volunteer unit over on Ko-fi. A special shout out to my guild general, Beggy Beg Beg, for supporting this channel at the top tier. There's other rewards and other tiers as well, so check out the links that you see on screen, and I will see you all down in the comments.